I'll share a quick story with you about why this is so important to me. I recently stumbled on a video that I had done on another YouTube channel for who was then a customer of mine, working with them on some content. And I never got alerted about the comments because it wasn't my YouTube channel. And recently I stumbled on the YouTube channel and there were a bunch of comments, most of them favorable. One or two people who commented that I placed, quote unquote, too much emphasis on the reports, which blows me away. But one of these people actually know who the guy is. He's not an accountant by trade. He's an IT guy, but he and his wife have worked on their accounting business for many years. But as an IT guy, it doesn't surprise me that he would make a comment like that, because an accountant, of course, should hopefully understand why there's so much emphasis on the reports. An accountant should hopefully understand that the whole reason for putting even $1 of your money into bookkeeping, into that process, is that you put information into a system so that you can get information out of that system, which means reports are the most important thing. Of course, I'm going to put the most emphasis on the reports. And this video was comparing two different accounting products and why I ultimately chose QuickBooks Online, because it came down to the reporting. So for me, it was laughable that somebody would come back and say, oh, you put too much emphasis on the reporting. Of course I put too much emphasis on the reporting. That is the whole entire point. If you're not going to focus on the reporting, throw your bookkeeping system away. It's worthless. Right? There is no point in spending $1 or even a minute of time entering this stuff if you're not going to use what you've put into the system to get the important information out of the system, which comes in the form of reports. Right? That's the whole entire point. Even if all you care about doing is filing a tax return, you need reports to do that. You need the balance sheet and the P&L. And there's probably going to be some questions along the way which are going to ask you to dig into some of the information deeper than the surface level of the balance sheet and the P&L. You don't need a statement of cash flows to do a tax return. That one you don't need. Statement of cash flows is strictly to analyze the business, and this is, by the way, what investors or stakeholders who are considering putting money into a company, that's where they usually place the most emphasis, if they're savvy, if they know what they're doing, because that's where they can kind of cut out all the BS and look straight up at where are the cash flows coming from in this company. Are they operations, or is it investing or financing activities, right? A friend of mine, Mike Milan, he's Cashflow Mike. You can find him at Cashflow Mike on Twitter, shared a really interesting story with me that I think it was Sears many, many years ago, whose most of their cash flows were coming from financing activities because they were selling off a lot of the buildings and properties that they owned. So that could make them look flush in terms of cash, but if you took a look at the statement of cash flows and saw where those cash flows were coming from, you would see this wasn't coming from operations, it wasn't coming from profits, it wasn't coming from them doing what they normally do to earn money for a living. And that could have and should have been a big red flag on a company like that. So that's where the statement of cash flows really comes in.